Now we'll have a look at progress and how it's marked on the driving test. Also, because this is to do with speed, we'll include from the miscellaneous section above, use of speed. So, the difference between use of speed and appropriate speed. Use of speed is basically going too fast in relation to the speed limit, or type of road we're on, and appropriate speed is going too slow. Watch the next two clips.
Turn right.
The road we're about to turn onto is a national speed limit road. See the speed we'll get up to. It will top out at around 40 miles per hour. So that was enough time to get up to speed, yet we have been marked for appropriate speed, i.e., going too slow. In the next clip, as you can see, we've turned onto another national speed limit road. This time our speed will only get up to around 35 miles per hour. This time we're marked for use of speed, i.e., going too quickly. But on the road before, 40 was too slow. So, on the face of it, this doesn't seem right at all, but let's think why we may have been judged for each scenario as we were. Why do we choose to do speeds on some roads that are close to the speed limit, and well below the limit on others? There are a few things we should take into account, one of the most important being whether we can see far ahead, usually if the road is fairly straight and even. When the road is either twisty or undulating, or both, we wouldn't be able to easily see hazards or obstructions ahead. The underlying statement is that we need to be able to stop in the distance we can see, so the less distance we can see ahead, the slower we need to be. The width of the road is another important consideration, especially when comparing these two examples. Here there's plenty of room for both directions of traffic to flow though, unless there was overtaking going on. Couple that with the view far into the distance and there is no need to be going at reduced speed here. Here it's really quite narrow for a national speed limit road. To avoid driving on the grass on the left, the right-hand side of our car is slightly over the imaginary center line of the road. So what if we encountered an oncoming car around one of the bends, or over the crest of a hill here? We'd have to slow down to allow room to pass each other. The faster we go, the less time we'd have to react and it would take us longer to slow down. We're marked here, as it's thought we wouldn't have been able to easily cope with any ordinary-sized vehicle coming towards us, given our relatively high speed for the situation. We may even encounter road signs warning us of hazards ahead, such as this road narrows ahead one, which could be for, in this case, a bridge, or for temporary roadworks amongst other things. Anyhow, we should be ready to reduce our speed accordingly. Weather conditions. If it's moderately wet with a few small puddles, and there's no spray from vehicles in front, just around a few miles an hour less in most cases would be sensible. Same if it's only a little foggy. If the weather is more extreme, such as very heavy rain, thick fog, snow, or ice, only a severe reduction of speed will do, or better still, stay at home, or we should pause our journey if already out. If it's extremely wet and we have vehicles in front, our visibility will be severely reduced, same with thick fog, our thinking distance or reaction times would increase. Snow or ice, then it's the stopping distances that become enormous. Other things to consider may be the condition of the road. If it has many potholes and we fear a situation such as allowing room for oncoming vehicles to get past where we may have to drive over one, would be less likely to damage tires by going slower. With a lot of traffic ahead, if, let's say they are traveling at 20 miles per hour on a national speed limit, obviously we are limited to the speed the traffic ahead is traveling at. A slam-dunk serious fault would be if we went over the speed limit by more than 20%, even for just a moment. So, more than 20% in a 30 limit would be 37, which we managed to clock up here. If we pretend this 40-mile-per-hour road is actually a 30, we can see we start to go over the limit now, and remain so for quite some time. Even 10 seconds now. By around that sort of time we could expect to incur a major fault. If it were around 5 seconds or less it would far more likely just be a minor. On lower speed limit roads, again, if we can see far ahead and there are little or no hazards, we'd want to get on with it, near to the speed limit. If there are hazards such as speed bumps and pedestrian crossings, we may have to reduce our speed. The most obvious cause for reduction of speed on these kind of roads will be parked cars, especially when we get to bends, because, remember, we need to be able to stop in the distance we can see. The less we can see ahead, the slower we go. Of course, this will require some judgment on our part. Being a chunk below the speed limit can also just be minor, like in the next two clips. As we enter the 50 zone, it's a clear road, and not that wet, our speed doesn't get beyond 40. Being only 10 below the limit on a clear road isn't that bad compared to the first clip where we were 20 below the limit. And here, similar story, we end up settling on about 10 miles an hour below the limit on a wide and clear road. Finally, we'll look at undue hesitation.
At the roundabout, turn right, third exit.
On this test there'll be 3 separate faults for hesitation. On the approach to the roundabout, we have a good view. There is no one coming round, nor entering from the right currently. We should use our momentum to be on our way. It's possible we may not have looked at all until shortly before we stopped. We do again go promptly at the next chance we get. The oncoming car is a long way away, and people are even crossing the road in front of it, which is a pretty good way of telling if you have time to turn across traffic. If you can safely walk from one side to the other, generally you can turn across too. This was a bigger hesitation than the previous fault. If we'd stalled and had to wait again there, it would have likely become a serious fault.
Cross the roundabout and take the second exit.
As we exit to the left, we shouldn't need to come to a stop as we have our own lane. It's possible we may have been mistakenly looking to the right at this point, for vehicles to give way to upon exiting to the left, as we may have been confused by where to give priority on the unusual roundabout. Having totted up 3 driving faults for the same thing, we're probably on our last chance with the hesitations, as usually by the 4th time it will add up to be a serious fault. The most concerning hesitation to most learners would be when we are stationary at a T-junction, or a roundabout, like in this clip.
cross the roundabout and take the second exit, then turn left.
Coming up to the roundabout, we have just enough time to clear before the lorry to the right, particularly as it will take extra time to accelerate, but we come to a stop, which is fine. Then, illustrated by the 3 cars next to us that go through the roundabout, we miss another opportunity to go, accruing another driving fault, this one for undue hesitation. We did take the next clear opportunity to go though, so no need for it to be upgraded to a serious fault. If we miss 1 or 2 good chances to go, like here, a minor is most likely. Not every situation is the same, though if we continue to hesitate further after that, then a serious would be more likely. An example of when a serious hesitation is marked almost immediately is confusion about priority, and giving way to others when there is no need to be doing so, like in this clip.
Go right on the roundabout and take the second exit.
There are no vehicles approaching from the right, so we should get going, as it's a roundabout, not a T-junction, so roundabout rules apply, we do not need to be giving way to the left. At this point we have probably been told to get moving by the examiner as we are still waiting for no reason. So that covers staying within the speed limit, but not too far below it where possible, and what might be regarded as marks for hesitation. Next time, we'll have a look at the response to signs and signals section.